Assalamu alaikum rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Hope you're doing well. We're continuing our reading of Dante Alighieri's The Divine Comedy, the Inferno, and we are in Canto 12. So go ahead and listen to this as you're relaxing with your night tea, morning coffee, whatever fun thing you're doing to enhance your day. Let us begin. The place where to descend the bank we came was alpine, and from what was there moreover of such a kind that every eye would shun it, such as that ruin is which in the flank smote on this side of Trent the Adige, either by earthquake or by failing stay. For from the mountain's top from which it moved unto the plain the cliff is shattered so, some path 'twould give to him who was above. Even such was the descent of that ravine, and on the border of the broken chasm the infamy of Crete was stretched along, and who was conceived in the fictitious cow, and when he us beheld he bit himself, even as one whom anger racks within. Line 16. My sage towards him shouted, Peradventure, thou thinkest that here may be the Duke of Athens, who in the world above brought death to thee. Get thee gone, beast, for this one cometh not instructed by thy sister, but he comes in order to behold your punishments. As is that bull who breaks loose at the moment in which he has received the mortal blow, who cannot walk but staggers here and there. The Minotaur beheld I do the like, and he the wary cried, Run to the passage, while he wroth, 'tis well thou shouldst descend. So we have a beast here, the Minotaur. It's quite sad. Thus down we took our way o'er that discharge of stones which oftentimes did move themselves beneath my feet from the unwonted burden. So it sounds like a gravel, like every time he steps there's like these pebbles move. Thoughtful I went, and he said, Thou art thinking perhaps upon this ruin, which is guarded by that brute anger which just now I quenched. So the Minotaur has a sort of brute anger, and Dante is thinking on what this desolate places that he finds himself in. Now will I have thee know, the other time I here descended to the nether hell, this precipice had not yet fallen down, but truly, if I well discern, a little before his coming who the mighty spoil bore off from Dis in the supernal circle. Upon all sides the deep and loathsome valley trembled so that I thought the universe was thrilled with love, by which there are who think the world oft times converted into chaos. At that moment this primeval crag, both here and elsewhere, made such overthrow. But fix thine eyes below, for draweth near the river of blood, within which boilings is whoever by violence doth injure others. Now that is interesting. A river of blood that's boiling, and it has to do with people who injure others through violence. O blind cupidity, O wrath insane, that spurs us onward so in our short life, and in the eternal then so badly steeps us. Wrath insane? Blind cupidity, so blind love, just blind infatuation that doesn't have reason. Wow. And then wrath insane, that's a scary combination. To have wrath is pretty intense, especially in the warpath. But if it's insane, there's almost no direction to it. Even more unpredictable. I saw an ample moat bent like a bow, as one which all the plain encompasses, conformable to what my guide had said. And between this and the embankment's foot, centaurs in file were running, armed with arrows as in the world they used to chase to follow. So we have centaurs, we have a minotaur, half human, half beast, Greek mythological figures. Beholding us descend, each one stood still, and from the squadron 3 detached themselves, with bows and arrows in advance selected. And from afar one cried, Unto what torment come ye, who down the hillside are descending? Tell us from there, if not, I draw the bow. So the centaurs are asking them, like, who are you coming down the hill? What are you doing over here? My master said, Our answer will we make to Chiron. Chiron is the one who, in Greek mythology, I believe, trained Heracles. I forget, but he's also a centaur. Near you there an evil hour, that will of thine was evermore so hasty. So Virgil's like, we'll answer to Chiron, we'll not answer to you. Then touched he me and said, This one is Nessus, who perished for the lovely Deianira, and for himself did vengeance take. So there's a centaur named Nessus, and he in the midst, who at his breast is gazing, is the great Chiron, who brought up Achilles. Oh, it was Achilles. Okay, so Chiron and Achilles. But there was supposed to be a centaur in the myths, so one for Heracles as well. Thousands and thousands go about the moat, shooting with shafts whatever soul emerges out of the blood. Okay, so look at that. So the centaurs, they shoot arrows at whomever comes out of the river. Whoever's trying to get out gets an arrow. That's gloomy. Ooh, painful. So if they ever try to climb out and they're screaming and wriggling in pain, there's a centaur there to put an arrow straight where it hurts, right? Whew. More than his crime allots. Okay, so they get excessive arrows. More than for the crime they did. Ah, that'd be brutal. Near we approach unto those monsters fleet. Chiron an arrow took, and with the notch backward upon his jaw he put his beard. So a bearded centaur Chiron. After he had uncovered his great mouth, he said to his companions, Are you aware that he behind moveth whatever he touches? Thus are not wont to do the feet of dead men. And my good guide, who now was at his breast, where the two natures are together joined, replied, Indeed he lives, and thus alone me it behooves to show him the dark valley. Necessity and not delight impels us. Now here he's explaining they're not here for delight. They're doing it necessarily. Like that's what's pushing them to go about. Someone withdrew from singing Hallelujah, who unto me committed this new office. No thief is he, nor I a thievish spirit. So they're explaining that they're not these type of thieves. So it seems to be they're justifying their presence to these centaurs. But by that virtue through which I am moving, my steps along this savage thoroughfare, give us someone of thine to be with us, and who may show us where to pass the ford, and who may carry this one on his back, for 'tis no spirit that can walk the air. Oh, so they want to ride. Upon his breast Chiron wheeled about, and said to Nessus, Turn and do thou guide them, and warn aside, if other band may meet you. Okay, so if any other centaurs come across today, I'm like, hey, we're sent here, we're okay. But it appears Nessus, he's going to give a ride to them. That'd be cool, but scary. We with our faithful escort onward moved along the brink of vermilion boiling, wherein the boiled were uttering loud laments. So they're boiling in a river of blood. Boiling in a river of blood. Dang. Whew. That's intense. Okay, so Chiron brought up Achilles. And those who did violence upon others for injury, that's where they ended up. It's their punishment. It's very interesting because they drew blood by doing violence upon others. It appears to be innocents, right? Innocent people whom they hurt. And now blood punishes them, and how people I saw with up to the eyebrows, and the great centaurs said, tyrants are these who dealt in bloodshed and in pillaging. Okay, so what you have here, so the centaur is letting them know that the people who are boiling in blood all the way up to their eyebrows, those were tyrants. Whee! That gets at the sensitive eyeballs. How painful, right? Whee! Here they lament their pitiless mischiefs. Here is Alexander and fierce Dionysus, who upon Sicily brought dolorous years. Wow, so I wonder if they mean Alexander the Great. Think about that. He wrote Alexander the Great boiling in blood. Oh, the Macedonians must have been like, what did you say? That forehead there, which has the hair so black, is Azolin, and the other, who is blonde, Obizo, is of Esti. I don't know who that is. I wonder if we have to look them up. Who, in truth, up in the world was by his stepson slain. Then turned I to the poet, and he said, now he be first to thee, and second I. A little farther on the centaur stopped above a folk, who far down as the throat seemed from that boiling stream to issue forth. A shade he showed us on one side alone, saying, he cleft asunder in God's bosom the heart that still upon Thames is honoured. Then people saw I, who from out the river lifted their heads, and also all the chest, and many among these I recognized. Thus, ever more and more grew shallower that blood, so that the feet alone it covered, and there across the moat our passage was. Okay, so the feet alone covered, so the most evil covered up to the highest part, right? The people who shed the less, just their feet are there. So the higher the blood river is boiling you, the worse you were. Even as thou here upon this side beholdest the boiling stream, the eye diminishes, the aid diminishes, the centaur said. I wish thee to believe that on this other more and more declines its bed until it reunites itself, where it behoveth tyranny to groan. Where it behoveth tyranny to groan. That's cool. Tyranny to groan. Tyranny causes others to groan, but now tyranny is being made to groan. Justice divine upon this side is goading that Attila, who was a scourge on earth, and Paris and Sextus, and forever milks the tears with which the boiling it unseals. Wow, that's intense. Boiling it unseals. Milking of tears. Whee. So that boiling river of blood unseals your tears and keeps milking it, keeps extracting it through pain because you're so in an intense environment, being scourged. Whee. In Renier de Corneto, in Renier Pazzo, who made upon the highway so much war. Then back he turned and passed again the ford. Wow. That's intense. The next canto is Canto 13. Now, Alexander, Dionysus, tyrants. Because the centaur said the people who were in there, right, up to their eyebrows, are those who caused bloodshed and pillaging. So Alexander, he was a great conqueror. He conquered much. So he's a hero to some and a villain to others. Usually, in Italian culture, you wouldn't see Alexander as a villain. So for Dante to include him as a villain must have made a lot of people ticked off. It's pretty spicy. We had Azoline, Obizo, Attila, Pyrrhus, Sextus. Wow. Nessus, the centaur, Chiron, the centaur. Remember, Nessus is taking Virgil and Dante about. Man, I wouldn't want to go to that kind of place. Now remember, Nessus, he died for the lovely Deianira. He took vengeance. I'm not sure on who. Remember, we learned about blind cupidity, wrath, insane. Very unique ways of describing reckless, scary, misguided behavior. What do you think? By the way, if you'd like to join my blog, it's www.subscribestar.com/MilahanArchive. A lot of cool posts on there. It's a great community, supports the channel, and I hope to see you there. Take care.